Why wouldn't you? It's such a beautiful sounding language. You could say absolutely anything and it would sound very elegant, and I would say, wow.
Does it?
It's beautiful.
Does it?
There was what is there? The scene in the second Matrix movie.
Matrix with the Lambert Wilson was playing that guy.
Yeah, and he just does a long stream of curse words, and it just sounds great.
Yeah.
All right, these guys are about to begin.
So they're prepping right now, but they can call for a timeout if they need more time, right?
Yes, and I believe that's what's happened right now. There seems to be a problem with Kinetic Robots' Sentry, I believe, is what they're looking at the moment. So what's unique about the Sentry that some of you may not know is that the Sentry is completely automated. I mean, if you're a veteran to RoboMaster, you know this, but it's completely programmed. There is no pilot for it at all, and so it has to move back and forth and evade fire just based on how it can detect enemies coming in.
Okay, so it was Queens. They asked for a 2 minutes technical timeout.
Oh, Queens did? Okay.
Yeah.
I see Kinetic back there working on stuff too. But yeah, you're right. On the other end of the field, there's Queens is working as well. It would make sense for both teams to take advantage to really double check everything.
Yep. Where's Queens, by the way? Where's Queens University in Canada? Because it's a very large country. Where is that?
Mike, you would know that.
Okay. Guys, whoever gives the information first get like 10 RoboMaster S1 for free. On mat. It's on mat.
This is not verified. Kingston, Ontario, Canada. Okay.
So Ontario being on the east side, right?
I don't even know. I'm terrible with geography. I have trouble getting home from going to the store. More eastern. Okay.
Yep. Ok, sur le Saint-Laurent. Parfait.
On the St. Lawrence River.
St. Lawrence. That's how you guys call it?
Yeah.
Saint-Laurent?
Yeah, well, I guess
3 seconds more in timeout.
it may be more what you said since there's so much French influence in Canada.
Yep. Vive le Québec libre.
Yeah.
All good.
Well, things look operational there. When it comes back into focus, the sticker on the side of that bot was the inspection sticker. All of these robots have to be inspected by the judges before they're allowed to go out on the field.
Fun fact, someone mentioned Newfoundland. I always went there for a university, and then I ended up in China because my father said, like, what are you going to do in Newfoundland? Just go to China and just shut up. All right.
I think one of the things I found so interesting about Shenzhen was how quickly it's been built. About 30 years ago, it didn't exist.
Man, and if you come here every year, you're going to see different every year. Most people come here, they just didn't expect China to be so modern.
Yeah.
Most people still expect like a lot of factories and stuff, but Shenzhen is just next century city. It's amazing.
I think like even in the early 80s, it was just a fishing village.
That's what they say.
Just sitting there on the bay.
And just for like people who arrived here like 8-10 years ago, there was still very, very little infrastructure, and now it's so awesome. We see more and more people coming into China just for Shenzhen, when usually you would come for Hong Kong and Shanghai. Sometimes that they don't even go there anymore. They just focus on Shenzhen because it's happening here.
So to give you a sense, we went to the Ping An building, I believe is what it's called.
Highest tower in China.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the fourth largest building in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's the largest, the highest observation deck you can go to, though. So if you go up to the top of the tower, you'll actually get a higher view than any of the other tall buildings that you might go to.
Right.
But there they told us that Shenzhen now has more skyscrapers than all of Europe, which blows my mind.
I wouldn't be surprised there. Just to give you an idea of the scale, because that's what's scary about China. It's the scale, right? And Ping An, so Ping An is the largest insurance company in China. They have literally millions of employees.
Yeah.
So this company alone in China is larger than many European countries in terms of population.
And it's tried to become sort of a tech capital, like a Silicon Valley almost for China as well.
100%. Especially on hardware, for the hardware, because you have like the engineering facilities, you have the factories, you have the shipping availability from Hong Kong and stuff, all the logistics very easy.
Yeah. and you look across the bay and you can see Hong Kong. And they even call it, similar to San Francisco, they call it the Greater Bay Area.
Yeah.
So I find that funny.
Yeah, that's what they want. But you see, they want to compete on that now because they have this whole, what they call the Pearl River Delta, Pearl River, and it's just growing so fast that they want to compete at a global level now. Yeah, you're right, Farisol. These guys knows a lot about China. That's a special economic zone. So they basically pointed at Shenzhen on the map and they say, okay, this is gonna be a 20 million people city, and they made it because it's China.
Right, correct. I'm not sure how that works because, you know, the Chinese government has very special economic rules, but here it's a little bit more
flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be the only place in China where you could do business. You had to go through Shenzhen. So all the companies from Taiwan, Hong Kong, and other places in the world, they were coming through. It was the gate, if you want. And that's what allowed it to grow so fast.
Yeah.
And you can see the speed. That's what they call, literally, they call it Shenzhen speed here, how fast it's developing.
Yep. And I think that's probably why it was built up, because it was really an effort by the government, I think, to put this giant city here.
They planned it.
Yeah, they just decided, yeah, we're going to put it right there. It's right by Hong Kong. You can access it from Japan and Korea very easily.
100%. You have the factories in the hinterland and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And you see how the city is mapped.
All right, here we go. Kinetic Robots versus the Queen's Knights. I'm very curious to see who's going to win. Kinetic has a little bit more experience here, but both teams had 4 wins yesterday, and they haven't faced each other yet.
Defensive, focusing on the big balls first.
Yep. Yeah. Very, very quickly, those engineers try to go out and grab those. Last year, because the islands were so close together with the resources, they would often go to the other teams and try to block them.
And what we saw with the previous game with the Hong Kong University is that they tried to make the fight happen in the other side of the pitch, not in your base, but in the other space. So it's about, I guess it's a lot about field control too, right?
Yeah, which is hard to do. Some of the teams, if they don't know exactly when they should move forward, they end up sort of at a stalemate in the middle and don't progress past that. So we can't really guess what the strategy is going to be now until somebody makes the first move.
Right. It's kind of a round of observation.
Is he having a little bit of trouble getting those blocks? Hey, Chad, I didn't manage to catch that red engineer. Maybe one of you did. It placed those... I'm not sure if it managed to get those ammo containers and place them right back, or if it had trouble getting them in the first place. And yes, all these players are students. These are all university students. Kinetic is from... Let's see, where was it?
The red one?
Yeah, GTCIST.
Guangdong Taiwan University.
Right, and Queens is from Canada.
Yep. So all these kids they're building the robots and training besides on top of their usual schedules and stuff. So it's really a lot of education for them.
So both teams staying very defensive right now.
Yeah.
They're sort of long-range firing.
Observing each other.
R2 had trouble getting the ammo containers. Okay, all right. There's so much going on the field at any given time. It's hard to keep up sometimes, but it's always very fun. Look at him doing little spins.
Yeah. Blue trying to take the control of the pitch.
The engineers have a much larger health pool than the other robots do.
Okay.
Which sometimes they use the engineer as a distraction because of that, because they know the engineer will probably not get knocked out, but they'll waste their ammo or something.
And you were saying number 7 on the monorail, he's actually automatic?
Yes.
Okay, so no one's actually controlling that stuff.
No, so they go back and forth like that, and the turret will sort of move up and down very quickly and rotate, trying to scan and find anybody who is approaching.
Right.
And the more advanced teams will randomize their movements so that you can never predict what they're going to do or what direction they'll go in.
Right.
Especially when they get fired at. They can get fired, and then suddenly
it's getting animated.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, 5 in the middle of a...
Look at that. Dude. Engineer charging in again, just sort of tanking that.
Yeah. I guess can you use the engineer as a cover for your standards?
Yeah. That's how they seem to be doing it, since they seem to be having trouble getting any ammo containers with their bot, so they're making it useful in other ways.
Yeah. Some guys, yeah, guys, it's called robot competition. They're shooting golf ball at each other. They have to take down the other robots. They can go to the base and destroy it. It's basically the concept. It's a lot of fun to watch.
It's almost a stalemate right now. 240 to 160, very little damage done on either side. And I have to say that the fact that the Queen's Knights haven't been destroyed already is very impressive.
And you have to take down number 7, so on the monorail, before you can access the base, correct?
Right, or you have to attack those top plates, which are very hard to hit.
Yeah, I saw a lot of guys trying that, very little success.
Yeah. So again, it's that 50-point shield on the top. You have to get 5 hits within 10 seconds, and if you don't, it goes back up to full, and you have to try it all over again.
Just so you know, so someone's asking how do they get damaged. Basically, you have sensing plates on the sides of the robots, so they're shooting each other on the plates to get damaged, and if you're dead, basically you're out of the game. That's what they're trying to do right now.
Correct. The number plates is what those are. If you look at them with the lights on either side, those are the force sensors. That's the targets.
You mentioned something for the previous games, like the accurate teams are usually winning these games. It's not about shooting and firing in all directions. It's about how accurate your shooters are.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we've seen. I think yesterday we saw one team fire 1,000 rounds. The other team did 300 rounds, and the team with 300 won because they did more damage.
Right.
And they can program auto aim and computer assist in. So really they just have to point in a general direction, and if they're good enough programmers, the students, the bot will do everything else and calculate the trajectory and how much like lift they have to do to get the hit.
So okay, so how, you're saying how advanced your engineering is actually a big factor in if you can win or not.
And that's one of the biggest differences that we've seen with the Chinese teams, the international teams, is some of their programming is just so much more advanced. Yes, there's First Blood.
Queen's down. Queen's bot is down. Okay, one of their standards. It's yeah. So just so you guys know, 600 to 300, it's not such a big difference. It's still very close right now. It takes like it could take a couple seconds to reverse that. It's not really a big difference. So it's still very close.
That's correct. And it looks like their hero unit on Kinetic side is in a little bit of trouble. It's being chased down by some of the standards.
What does that mean?
The hero is number 1. It was being chased by 2 of the standards on the other side. Oh, there's a disconnect. You're right.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
On the Queen's Knights, there's a Wi-Fi disconnect, so they don't have control right now.
Damn, robot offline.
Yeah, it was taken offline by the referee system.
Oh man, so that's 2 down now.
That's right. So they don't have a reliable signal. Then
50 seconds to reverse the.
Then they're gone.
Noob question, but if the base, no one takes the base, then it's gonna be about the
correct
the firing statistic.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. So what's interesting about that is you could have 2,000 points of damage to like 50 points of damage, but if you're on the 50 points team and you manage to get 1 hit on the enemy base, you win.
Okay.
That's it. That supersedes everything else.
Okay. Yeah. I understand. See, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. It's actually. Oh man, they have 20 seconds to fill the gap.
Oh, I'm really excited here to see what we can do. They've got a defensive position up top. If he can fire it down and hit some of those,
and it's less
come
than
on. I think they're out of ammo.
Oh man,
they ran out of ammo. Oh no.
They're closing the gap very fast.
That was very impressive by Queens, though. Good job to both teams. Kinetic did very well there at staying defensive.
Oh man, I think it was like 5 to 10 seconds of ammo more, and it would have filled in the gap. They were getting very close.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing that. We have somebody helping us with the lights now. All right, so yeah, that was pretty good. If you guys have questions, feel free to let us know. We are here in Shenzhen, China. This is very real. Somebody asked if this is real. It's happening in the arena right behind us right now. This isn't a green screen or anything like that. We're getting hit by balls quite often, actually. Last year, we had more of an angle like they did, the Japanese hosts, and so whenever people would fire at the base, they would ricochet off and hit us in the back of the head.
Yeah, just so you guys know, everyone has glasses for the protection when they walk around. We don't, because we live dangerously. So
that's right.
Just so you guys have a bit of context. And also, the Japanese Encore is really pretty.
So you have right next to you, actually, some of the ammunition that has hit us, right there on the board, actually.
Right.
If you could grab one of the smaller rounds and
this one? Oh, this one?
Yeah. So that's one of the 42mm rounds, and then between the controls, he's been stacking up as they come up here. He's been throwing those up here. Yeah, so this is about the size of a golf ball. It even has little divots on the inside, and if you hit them, they light up. That's pretty cool. It's a little force impact thing, so it's easy to see them, like little tracer rounds as they go. We've got replays going on the field right now. And then the smaller ones are glow in the dark.
Give you some context. So if you get hit by these, I wonder how much these protection glasses are actually going to help.
They don't have too much velocity behind them. They don't travel very quickly, so they don't really hurt too much. The smaller ones will sting a little bit, but they don't hurt either. We did an experiment where Das drove one out on the field and shot me in the hand just to see what it would feel like, and it wasn't too painful at all.
So just to try, I got shot by a robot just to see how it feels.
Yep.
It's a once in a lifetime experience.
To be shot by a robot.
Yeah.
And hopefully that doesn't happen again. Otherwise, we'll have like a Terminator situation, or
who knows, man? Who knows? AI is going too fast.
What if there is no dark? What do you mean, Kuro? With the glow in the dark rounds? It's dim enough in the stadium that you're seeing them already. If you're able to see the green of those little rounds, then they're doing their job.
So this one is the one that they tried to get out of this box in the beginning, correct?
Yeah.
So this is the standard one, and they get this one, it's more damage.
Correct.
So
yeah. So the large ones are worth 100 points of damage, and the small ones are worth only 10.
Okay.
And I think in the dispensers that they have to give the smaller rounds, they have lights on the inside to make sure that they're glowing correctly.
Someone is mentioning the wheels.
Oh yeah, the mechanism wheels.
I was like, if you guys, it works laterally, so I don't know if they can see it right now.
Yeah, we don't have it.
We don't have it.
We'll see if we can switch that over very quickly.
So basically, they can move on the side. It's like I don't even know how to explain that. Please do it better than I could.
So they're sort of curved like that. They're little rollers on each wheel, and they will move in opposite directions. Whoops. We got the light turned off because the round is starting. It interferes with the equipment. We'll show you later.
Just so you know, it's cool.
Mechanism wheels is what they're called. You might be able to just search it and find a great explanation on YouTube, but we'll do it in a minute.
Let's go.
Round 2 between Queens and Kinetic.
So I see a question about a female contender. Just so you know, they are. Each team has girls. For example, the Taiwan, so in red, you have the Taiwan Guangdong University. Out of their 30 members, a third of them, so they have 10 girls in the team. So yeah, you do have girls in these teams.
There are actually quite a few female engineers in the competition. Different ratios depending on the different colleges. But we've noticed that with FIRST as well. FIRST Robotics, back in the U.S., I did some commentating there with high school students and younger kids as well. And there's almost an even number. There's more and more with each generation. It's great to see. All right, so going on in the field right now, it looks like about like it did last time.
It's starting much faster, though.
You're right. Yeah, Queens is starting to push out a little bit. They were a little bit more aggressive there.
So blue is Queen's University from Canada. On the left, the red one is Guangdong Taiwan University. So it's a South Chinese university. It's based out of Dongguan. It's about 2 hours from Shenzhen, where we are right now.
Some hits on that engineer from Kinetic. They're trying to just get a few points in early on. 100 points, even 300 points difference this early is not very much at all.
Yep. But it can make a difference. Like the previous game, it finished like 50 points. What was that? Oh, wow, Queen's doing a good job right now.
Look at that. They pulled ahead just a second there. Same strategy, going after that engineer. Just an easy hit. We've got a penalty over there on the blue side.
So on
the red.
What's the penalty? Like, what is it? Points? Is it time?
They can't see.
Oh.
It turns off their display for a few seconds, and depending on how many they get, it may be like 2 seconds at first, then 5 seconds, then 6 seconds, something like that. So it gets progressively worse the more penalties they get. So they won't know what to do. A little bit of a skirmish going on with Red 3, who's been, I think he was one of the MVPs in the last set that Kinetic did.
So that's correct, Morcani. So the number, so you see the 1-0 next to the time, next to the clock, is because they won the first round, and the damage done are 600, 570, 580 right now, and that makes the difference. If no one takes down the base, then they're going to refer to that to decide the winner. But it's very close right now.
Neck and neck. It's just going back and forth like that.
Awesome.
For to see, it looks like Blue 3 is in a little bit of trouble. He's pulling back a bit, trying to go get repairs. Red 4 is actually off on his own right now. He's trying to plink the base a bit. Oh, he did it. Look at that.
What?
He was so secret that we didn't even see it from the camera.
No.
Look at that. So he's got 10 points of damage on Queens. That could be an automatic victory unless Queens is able to damage the other base.
Oh, no, because he hit the plate without opening the base?
He snuck up there when nobody was looking.
It's the first time I see someone actually succeeding for this.
Yeah.
Usually they keep shooting, they can't hit it. Oh, wow. So now, okay, can you explain us why it's that important?
Right, so the amount of damage that you do to the other team's robots is only important if the bases are undamaged.
Right.
The bases are the main points here. So if you get even just the 10 points on the enemy's base, you're going to win.
So if I sum it up, like, the red team could have like 2,000, like, whatever points on their damage. It doesn't matter as long as they have 10 points more on the blue side for the base, like, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. So we got a skirmish right there. So what Queens is going to have to do is ignore trying to fight the robots as much. I mean, obviously they have to protect themselves and maneuver, but they've got to prioritize going for that base now. And I think they may be trying to rush it a little bit too fast now because they know that the pressure is there.
So it's interesting because they're winning due to this 10-point difference on the base health, but
now that Queens,
they're also down to robots.
They got sloppy because they got worried, I think, and so now they're getting knocked out. That's 2 standards down. They only have 1 standard and the hero bot online. There goes the hero. He's getting knocked out. This is a quick victory for Kinetic.
Queens is in trouble. They're in trouble.
Oh, man.
You have like 3 robots left. You're 10 down on the base.
This is a bit more what I expected to see in the last round. And Queens just did very, very well, but once you get, sometimes you just need one opening to just really decimate the other team. Look at that. Only the engineer and the sentry online. All the damaging bots are off now.
So what do you say? I mean, is there still any suspense here?
There's really nothing that Queens can do at this point. I mean, maybe the engineer could drag one of the other robots back to the healing point and get it revived.
Okay.
But with only 2 minutes left, it's done.
Okay. Well, just a reminder of what we were saying earlier. Queens is a team that is like, they funded most of their robot and expense. They almost gave up because they had no time for this. They really got back and funded everything themselves. It's a lot of effort. Seeing them even at this stage, I mean, it's great. It's really good for what they have proven to themselves.
For a first-year team, it's been incredibly impressive watching them hang with a lot more experienced teams. These are real robots. These are real robots on the field behind us right now. I mean, we're in a stadium at the moment. There's augmented reality stuff on the computers, which is what you're seeing right now, so we can see these health displays. It's really cool technology. There's a mini-map tracking the positions of the robots. We're living in the future. It's good.
Yeah, we saw the faces of this blue team from Queens, Canada. I mean, yeah, they're pretty down right now.
So right now, it looks like Kinetics is going to use the remaining minute to try to run some practice drills and try to really hone in their firing on things like the sentry and on the base. They're just practicing at this point.
And talking about practicing, Digital Justice mentions experience and how Chinese teams are usually more experienced than Western teams at this.
Yes.
I guess there is a learning curve, right?
Oh, hugely. I mean, going through local competitions and then regionals and then making it here to championships, they've got so much more time during the year to face real opponents and to use real fields. Whereas, you know, the international teams may come here and they've not been able to fight a single match all year.
I see what you're saying. But the more universities will be aware of the competition at the international level, the more they will give credits and resources for a student to actually practice before they join here.
That's correct. That's the goal, yeah.
Yeah.
We want to get those international leagues going.
So Nullbeer, just so you know, they get a penalty when they bump into each other too hard or on purpose, right? Good job, guys.
All right, that's it. That's the match.
This one was not close. The second one was not close.
No, just one little slip up is all it takes sometimes. But good job to Kinetic. They're going to be moving on pretty much. I think that was their 6th victory so far. So they've done pretty well.